Hi everyone, I'm Alex. Welcome to Tenon Movement. For today's practice, which is kind of going to be all around, we're going to do everything. I think you should have a blanket and 2 blocks, so that'll be good and should get you where you need to be. So 2 blocks and a blanket, and come onto hands and knees. Have the shoulders right over the wrists, the hips directly above the knees, tops of the feet on the floor, and just start to move through a few cat-cows. So begin to undulate the spine. And you could inhale when you flex your spine and exhale when you extend your spine. And start to feel the connection between the lower body, the middle body, and the upper body. And then start to move it a little faster. So in, out, in, out. Really building a currency, conducting heat from the bottom up. Just keep going. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round your spine, round, round. You can even go up onto your fingertips and suck it all up. And then release, and you could stay on the fingertips and start to stir your pelvis around in a circle. So start to mix your butt around, become spherical, drop your imagination down to the lowest point of the pelvis it can go, and scale around, scrape around the edges there, moving from the left outer edge to the right outer edge, to the front, to the back of the bowl, so going everywhere. And then switch the direction of your spin. Keep the crown of your head tugging forward as the pelvic floor reaches back. So watch that you didn't train yourself to look forward like a Pez dispenser, and instead really reference that central channel, that horizon line in this orientation, moving through you from the crown of the head to the pelvic floor. So spin around it, and the spin around will help you articulate center, just as articulating the center helps you find the circumference. Switch directions again. And maybe change speeds or change what you're doing with your hands. I'm going to flip my wrists. I'm going to continue to spin with a little micro bend to my elbows as I go, and switch directions again. If you're anything like me and I'm having a little neck pain on the right, I feel it all the way in my right wrist. So it's really good in this case for me to plug my whole right hand down, knowing that when I'm working my wrist, I'm working my collarbone, and the wrist is also the neck of the hand. So there's resonance there, and I could feel it. And it's kind of cool to have the experience of noticing the body as really the parts mirroring the whole. Bring the big toes together, widen your knees, flip your hands forward, go on the fingertips, and crawl your fingertips forward. Keep the elbows elevated and drop your forehead down onto the floor. So stay in this really perky child's pose, a little bit more active, and continue to crawl your fingers forward, stretching the side body way, way, way forward as you tack the butt back towards the heels. Big deep breath in and out. Walk your hands over to the right. Stay hovery through the chest. Reach your left middle finger forward as you express your left butt back. Feel that whole left side body get longer. And then crawl through center. Bring your hands left. Reach your right arm further away from that right outer hip. And feel space between the 2 trajectories, forward and back. And then come through center. You're going to round your way up, stand your fingertips if you can, and then drop your pelvis down, kick your heels to your butt, lift your chest, round your shoulders down your back, and then stick your butt out and fold back to the child's pose. Just 2 more like that. Round and ripple forward. Visualize the crest and fall of a wave as the pelvis drops, chest lifts, vision lifts. And then stick the butt back, kind of like the tide getting pulled out to sea. And then round, heels kick to butt like a mermaid, and lift your chest. Make your way back to all fours. Tuck your toes, parallel your knees, unfold everything to a downward facing dog. Put a little bend in your knees and lift your butt way, way up. Rotate your armpits towards your heart. I like to widen my feet a little wider than hip distance in my dog and really lift my sitting bones. And then continue to think of dropping the crown down and lifting your butt up. Good. And then come forward to hands and knees. Swing your legs forward and sit on your butt. Pull the flesh of your butt out and back as much as you can. Keep a pretty good bend in your knees. Take your 2 peace fingers around your big toes. And we're gonna do a little Kundalini pranayama. It's gonna work the fold of our hips and the hinge of our hips, which will allow us to unfold them in the next thing we do. So as you inhale, there's gonna be this natural pull away and up with your chest. And as you exhale, there'll be a bounce of your chest down towards your thighs. So it'll look like this. So the real expression here is on the out breath, and you're bringing your belly to your thighs every time you exhale. And the inhale is just a rebound. It's a reflex to the pose. It's a reflex and a rebound, just like you're pulling up and away, like you're bouncing a ball on your thighs. And then just keep going. Let the eyes close, and again, continue to lengthen the crown of your head forward so you're not jutting your chin forward. There's a real long expression through the nape of your neck. And then maybe as the fold gets a little bit looser, you could hold the whole hands to your feet. And I want you to feel the armpits kind of cup over the knees as you do this. Exhale, 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 exhale. That's it. Keep a little bit of a back bend in the forward bend. So when we're talking about esoteric dialogue in the practice, you want to know that there are 3 principles. And the first principle is that all polarities are mediated by Trinity. So here you're mediating a back bend and a forward bend and finding that space between. You're finding the effort and the grace and the ease. The second is that there is pattern. That pattern implies intelligence. So we're thinking about pattern here, and the pattern that we feel and find through nature, through the seasons, through the pattern of the tides, through the pattern of weather, through the pattern in the rings of a tree. And now you're imprinting your pattern here as you continue to exhale and exhale and exhale and exhale. And we want to know that our patterns, habitual, and our personality imply a certain intelligence when we make them conscious. So keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And then through that keep going attitude, the third principle of esoteric dialogue is that repetition births insight. So the more you continue to do something, the more insight it's going to bring you. So the more you find your way onto your mat and have your practice, the more insight you will glean from the practice itself. The more you repeat a behavior, the more insight you're going to get as you get feedback from the world around you. So use this pose that you're doing. I know it's agitating. I know we've been doing it for a little while, but use it to align yourself to these 3 esoteric principles and see where you go. See if you can find the back bend and the forward bend. See if you can find that the pattern really gives you a sense of intelligence and what's going on in the mechanics of the shape and maybe the mysticism of the shape. And then see that your repetition here can birth insight. Where do I go when the going gets tough, especially when I'm doing an on-demand video and I could walk away at any time? Let all the breath out and fold and pull yourself in and drop your head. And then unfold and sit all the way up for a second. Knees bent, spine nice and tall and in neutral. Then you could take your left hand to that right knee and find a little spin. And then find right hand, left knee, and find a little spin. Good. And then scoot forward on your mat slightly. Grab your 2 blocks. Come to lie down on your back. Now you're going to push your feet into the floor, lift your butt, and slip your 2 blocks underneath your pelvis. And if that is no bueno, you could always go a little lower, 2 blocks horizontal, lowest height. But because you're at home or wherever you are, if you can't lift the butt high enough to get the 2 blocks under there, just with your feet on the floor, put your feet on an ottoman, put your feet on the edge of your bed, put your feet somewhere. The higher you start with your feet up, the higher you'll get your hips. So pause this if you need and move so that you could grab a chair or something so that you could lift your butt up. What I want now is for where you were just folding in the hinge of your hips to be unfolded. And this is big. It's a big supported back bend. So take like 3 breaths in and out, and in and out, to allow yourself to settle in and out. Good. And then bend your knees into your chest. Keep the heels draped towards the butt, and just roll and rock around your sacral region here. Not with your feet, really just rolling on the bony landmarks, that outer glute med. Maybe you could get there, that outer little like wedge of the sacrum. And just find a swivelly side to side. And then bend your knees so that your heels are in line with your knees above your hips to a right angle. And take the right ankle on top of the left knee. And you could stay here if this proves to be enough, or if it's like feels nice just to kind of find these pulses, or step your left foot down. It's totally fine if your right hip kind of slouches out to the right and you feel your weight dumping there. I just want you to keep good contact with your left foot on the floor. And then unfold the right leg, stretch it straight up to the ceiling, and roll through your ankle. Do some like cat-cow moves with your ankle. Spin, stir the pot with your ankle. So thinking of your ankle as like a little hip joint, or your whole foot as a little spine. And then point the toes like a gymnast foot. Bend the knee a lot so you have deep flexion. Toes pointed. Grab hold of the top of the right foot and bring this right foot on the floor. I like to put my hand on my heel because I could kind of steer where my weight is dumping. And then I just caught myself tucking my chin into the chest. So lift your chin slightly like there's a clementine there, and you could get a good funnel for your breath. Undo your right leg, bring it up to a right angle, left leg up to a right angle. Take your left ankle on top of the right knee, good place to stay. Or send that right foot forward, step your foot to the ground, let your left knee fall where it may. And I take my hands to my hips here. I like to make contact. I also am someone who likes to move a little bit in the practice, so any little sway really gives me information about the weight distribution. And then stretch your left leg up, cat-cow through your foot, and stir the pot through your foot. So think of the foot as a spine. The heel is the lower, the arch is the middle, and the ball of the foot and toes are the upper. So that you could really look at your foot and like do what you were doing on hands and knees before, you know? It's kind of cool. And then point your toes, bend your knee, heel tucks towards the butt, top of that. Left hand grabs the top of the foot, and then bring that guy down and take your hand to your heel and see that the knee is aligned with the heel, top of the foot on the floor, and lift your chin slightly, shoulders anchored down and back and wide. Breath easy, chin slightly tilted to a lift so that you have good funnel for your breath. And then take your left leg up to a right angle, right leg up to a right angle. Stretch both legs up. Now, if you watch me for a second, you could really see that when I bring my feet up, they're a little close to me. Like they're folding in a little bit more towards my face. My tailbone slightly lifted. So if you flex your feet, what you want to do is bring your feet a little more slightly forward than feels normal. Not so you feel your hip flexors working, but so that the heel of the foot is aligned over the heel of the butt. Little bend to the knee, and then you could really feel like your sacrum is spreading onto these blocks majorly. And then point your toes, bend both of your knees, grab the tops of both feet, one at a time or two at a time. Both feet go to the top of the floor. Both tops of feet go onto the floor. I'm with you. It can feel pretty intense. Now, just stay here. Roll the shoulders down. Keep your elbows on the floor, hold your heels, and then try to relax your butt and find that sense of spreading through your sacrum and spreading through the back of the heart and the backs of the lungs, and easy jaw and easy breath. Good. Step both of your feet down onto the ground. Ground everything down. Just feel feet making good contact. Now keep your feet down and inchworm them forward, 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 just as far as you can without losing the connection of the whole foot on the ground. So you're not going onto your heels for totally straight legs. I want you to be able to articulate big toe mound to outer heel, baby toe mound to inner heel of both feet. Then you could take your arms to opposite elbow so you feel the whole arch available. You're like an eyebrow. You're a big crescendo. You're a big wave making contact with the feet and all the way up to the elbows, or even hands on the floor if you want, stretching back. Bring the feet in, bring your hands down by the blocks, push your feet into the floor, lift your butt. It's going to feel a little major coming out, so move the blocks off to the side, keep your butt hovering, and then extend the spine long to lower down. You might feel a little agitation. Let the sacrum ground. Ground, ground, ground. Don't do anything extreme. Knock the knees in a little just so you're giving your lower back some space. And just take a beat. Back bends typically are pretty agitating for many of us, so it's really normal to feel a little bit of like dialogue in the lower middle back here. And just ground your wires, and a little sway of the knees if that feels good for you. You don't have to, obviously, but if movement is the right name of the game for you, then go for it. Okay, when you're ready, make your way up. Cross-set your shins and come out to a downward facing dog. Downward facing dog is going to be the great neutralizer here, and you are going to feel different than that first dog that we did. For me, I feel incredible amount of space in my lower back that I didn't have before, so I want to send my imagination there. I want to bend my knees and really lift into that space in my lower back, so that I'm finding the apex and the pinnacle and the real tip of this as my perineum facing up. Look forward, step your right foot forward, drop your back knee down to the floor and point your back toes. Now, widen your hands a little bit, fingertips on the floor, and drop your head, and then find a wag of your tail left and right, just so you're kind of focusing a bit here on that down currency into your right foot and the pelvis moving forward and even slightly down. Then slight look forward, and you're going to keep that whole right foot down, but straighten-ish your right leg. I like to think that I'm like sniffing my right butt ball back and up. So there's this sense of going forward as you inhale, so bend that right knee. And then as you go back, you're lifting up and out of the depth of that right hip joint and expressing your butt back. So if you like that, think you exhale back, inhale forward, and you can look forward the whole time. And again, it's this lift up of that right butt, like you're sniffing it back. Good, and then the next time you're back in that half split, I want you to come onto the right heel and move your whole seat back until you're sitting back on the top of that left foot. And if that's excruciating for you, take your blocks outside and give yourself like a little pushing out of a pool or a body of water lift so it's not so heavy down. And then rock and roll your weight slightly side to side, right where you'd wear an anklet around that left ankle. It might be a little crunchy. It's a tricky guy. And then bend back into your right leg and open up your stance a bit. If you need, swoop your arms forward and up. Lace your hands at the base of the skull. Draw your elbows up. Your pelvis is so conditioned to move forward and up. Everything open and available. And you just had a deep fold of that left knee, and now it's extended. And then bring the hands down. Tuck the back toes, downward facing dog. Bend the knees a little bit in your dog. Lift your butt. Heels are not dropping down. Heels of the feet are slightly hovering, and let that help you lift the heels of your butt up. Look forward, lunge your left foot forward, drop your right knee, point your toes, widen your hands, and walk them forward and drop your head. So your spine is making more of a cat orientation than a cow orientation here. And then find a slight glance forward and straighten your left leg just as much as you could bring it back while really plugging the ball of the left foot in. So you're playing front to back. And then inhale as you bend, and exhale as you lift out of the depth of that left hip and sniff your left butt back. And you're just going back and forth, forward and back, and forward and back. And again, you can feel for yourself the difference of dropping back just to lengthen that left hamstring. And in this case, you're keeping the whole left foot down, lifting out of the left hip, and really actually playing a straight left leg by moving in two directions. And on this next one, straighten, come to the heel of your left foot, and then walk your way back to sit in that half virasana on that right leg. Different story with this knee and with this hip and with this quad. So if this side doesn't work or is more painful, use your blocks. You could even put a block or a blanket underneath your left butt as you're there. So that's it. Just go a little side to side. And then bend back into the left leg and open up your stance a bit. Crawl the hands forward and up. Lace them the weird way behind the base of the skull. Elbows forward and up like you were scooping a slice of the sky. And then bring your hands down, tuck the back toes, fold it back. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, lift your butt. Slide your right hand back a palm print. Take your left hand around, grab the outside of that right heel, and spin. So hard, and if you have a necklace like me, it's probably falling in your nose. You keep lifting your hips up, bend that left knee a little towards that left armpit, and turn. And then take your left hand down, take your right hand back, scoop up that outer left heel, bend the right knee towards your right armpit, lift your butt and turn. And then come back around, come to a plank, drop your pelvis. Lift to an upward facing dog and a downward facing dog. Lunge your right foot forward, spin the left heel down, widen your hands like you did in the Anjaneyasana setup, and just drop your head and round again. So again, just finding those legs. Then I want you to sway your hips right and left. Imagine that you had a friend next to you on the left, and you could hip bump them with your left hip. Feel that inclination, feel the habit want to take you really, really deep into that right hip, and that there's this sense of like, oh, it just feels cozy to really flop there. I want you to fight for your left hip. So as you turn to that left hip, like you were going to hip bump your friend, find that whole left foot on the ground and really station half of your weight, 50% of your weight in that left foot. See if you can find it. Keep everything, hands, torso as it is. Push down through the big toe mound of your right foot and straighten the right leg any amount without changing your hands at all. And then bend into that right knee. And then straighten it. You have not lost contact between your belly and your thigh. Bend. And then straighten. Bend. And then straighten. Step to the top of your mat, long spine, hang over. Separate your feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Let your arms dangle like pasta. And drop your head and lift your butt. And feel the feet go down and the seat go up. Feel the head as heavy as a boulder and the butt as light as a balloon. And then imagine the backs of your legs could take the biggest yawn ever. Hands to the floor, feet hip distance, step back to a plank, downward facing. Bend the knees, lift your butt. Lunge your left foot forward, spin the right heel down. Something I see a lot when we spin the back heel down, so peek at me for a sec, is when you spin your heel down, the stance gets shortened, right? So if I've come from a dog, my left foot lunges, back heel comes, and then all of a sudden, if you can see, my butt is way higher than my head, and everything is gonna get caught in my back. So from your dog, you lunge your left foot forward, spin the heel down, but keep that lunge long. A good way to measure is to know that your knee is right over your heel and that you're free to really look forward. You can even take your hands to your lower back and everything is on the same plane, so you shouldn't feel like you're nose diving. And then drop your head, fingertips to the floor, and find that sway right and left. It'll give you clarity about where you tend to dump your weight. It's gonna feel real pleasurable to sit in that left hip. Maybe pleasurable isn't the right word, but like habitual. It's gonna feel like, ugh, that feels so much more familiar. But I want you to fight for this whole right foot and the turn of that right hip forward through that sway and weight distribution of your right hip spinning out to the right and forward. And then keep your fingertips down, your hips stationed, belly to thigh. Straighten your left leg by growing it in 2 directions. And then bend it. So you're really finding this lever action and this sense of folding and unfolding in joint space. Then bend into your left knee, step forward, long spine, widen your feet, hang your head and drop your arms. And see if you can't find your way to this state of effortlessness in this hang. I mean, of course your legs are working for you, but let the torso and the arms go for a second and just bob yourself there like you were a buoy on water. Good. I'm going to spin for a second so that the next pose, my back isn't to you. Come to your downward facing dog. Lunge your right foot forward. Spin your left heel down. Come to your right fingertips on the inside of that right foot and walk your right fingertips towards the left side of your mat. And then lean your right shoulder back into your right knee. Now take your left hand onto your back and swing your left hip left, like you're hip bumping your friend, and then straighten the right leg without losing the connection between your knee and your shoulder, and do a couple bends and straightens and bends and straightens here. Think you're holding a dollar bill between your knee and your shoulder and it's not slipping away. Now as you bend your right knee, move your knee into your shoulder. Move your left hip out to the left, and then reach your left arm up. And then straighten and bend, and straighten and bend. And as you straighten, you might send that right arm forward, the left arm's rather forward. And then as you bend, you swoop the left arm up. And you go forward and up. So you're finding a hemisphere as you fold and unfold and move through your hips a little. And then just keep doing this so you find the fluency of it and you find your own narration of what the arms are doing, your own expression. And then when you're ready, step back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, lift your butt. Look forward, lunge your left foot forward. Spin your right heel down, 45. Take your left fingertips to the inside. Scoot your left hand to the right. Notice how much you want to swing your left butt out to the left behind you. Keep fighting the good fight for that right hip. Take your hand to it if that helps. And bend and straighten your left knee. I'm getting a little click in my left leg, my left knee, so I have to find my left hip more. Something's not tracking there. There we go. Good. Now as you bend your left knee, left hand out to the right, right hip moving right, right arm reaches up. Turn. Straighten the left leg and bend. And the right arm swoops forward as you straighten the left leg. And it swoops forward, up, and even back. And find your little rhythm. Everything stable on the bottom and free to flow in the upper body. Hardly even needing your arms. They're really just an expression of what the root system is giving you. Come back around. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Lift your butt. So good. Drop down to hands and knees. Sit onto your butt. Grab your blocks again. Come to lie back. Grab your chair if that helped you. Push into your feet. Lift your butt up. So good. Find that whole sacrum down on the blocks. Slight lift of your chin. Give yourself a second just to let it settle. Bring your legs up, your heels dip towards your butt, and find a little roll around with your knees. Swivel your weight. Massage like you're on a foam roller, your sacrum. Just work it out. Bring your heels in line with your knees over your hips, and you're going to eagle wrap your left leg all the way around, your right leg on top, all the way around your left. So right leg is on top. Start to send your left foot forward and step that left foot down onto the ground. My shoulders lift, so I need to give it a second to let my shoulders settle back down, but eventually they do. And then just find the breath in and out. The breath is going to be pulled to the pelvis like a vortex, kind of pulling the pelvis down, pulling the breath down into the pelvis. Try to release your glutes, and then know that you're making a tourniquet bind with your legs. So there's going to be a ton of fresh blood when you release and send the legs up. So this is so therapeutic for the pelvis and for the hips. So inhale and exhale. You got it. Try to release that right butt. It's going to be stubborn. Keep your legs in the bind as you bring your feet back up. Then unravel them and send your legs up and give them a little shake and let the blood, fresh blood, drain to the pelvis to nourish it. And then bend your knees to a right angle and eagle wrap your left over your right foot all the way down, and let the shoulders relax. And you can find a little side to side, anything to help it simmer. And feel that inhale being sucked down low to the pelvis like a vortex. Keep your legs in the bind, bring them up, unwind them, send them up, let the blood drain. And then bend your knees and step both of your feet down. Woo! Push into your feet, lift your butt, move your blocks. Lower down, lower down, lower down. Really, you want to use a second here to let everything neutralize. There's a tenderness that I feel in my sacrum. So just give it a beat. When you are ready, come to sit up, and then grab your two blocks. And you could put one on the lowest, the other on the lowest, like a T with a little bit of space between. And then put your blanket over those two, so there's a little bit of padding. I'm gonna stay with my legs crisscrossed. Bring your back close to where the props are and come on back and let your head drop. And for some of us, you have to move the block a little. For some of you, you might want to lift the head block up a tiny bit so your throat isn't open. That's really user's choice. Some people like the feeling of this open chest, open arm across the board. But if you want to bring that head block up to its middle height for a little bit of support, go for it. And nestle your way around here to find what's comfortable as a supported back bend. You could keep your knees bent and feet on the floor. You could crisscross them, or you could send your legs forward. But I want you to just lie down here for about 10 breaths. So once you've settled, find breath 1. You're halfway. Feel free if you're very, very happy to stay. And if you'd like to come with me, you'll push yourself up through center. I'm going to come onto my shins and use one of the blocks and slip the block between my ankles to sit in a Virasana. Let your eyes soften or close, so try and just direct them away from your monitor. Plug yourself in on the bottom. Feel spacious in the torso, across the collarbones, free in the neck and the head. And just listen to a few sounds of your breath. Bow your chin into your chest. Let your eyes blink open. And you are done. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you soon.